All right. Do I look chiseled enough now?
No, it's no more than usual. That's the opener. That's the opener. Do I look chiseled enough now? All right. What are we doing here, man?
I don't know. What are we doing?
Well, the paper's out. Even though we were prescient 6 months ago, it's available now.
Yeah.
So shout out to our partners at the ACM for making that happen. LinkedIn got good pickup. A lot of good reboosts or whatever they're called on LinkedIn.
What are
Business-based
they called? I think they're just likes and posts.
reposts.
Reposts. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
met
you're
with,
ahead of me as of today. Still.
Yeah, I jumped on it immediately.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Sunday afternoon is the time to do all of your LinkedIn posting.
Is it really?
No, it's not.
No.
It's funny. There's a whole group of people out there that'll tell you like the exact moment to do the exact thing, and they'll tell you when to post them. I just post. I don't even think about the time of the day.
I think of like not posting on the weekend because nobody's paying attention.
Yeah. It's going to go viral. It's going to go viral. All right. What's our topic for today?
I don't know. If you want to do the paper?
Have we talked about the paper before?
I think we've talked about the topic many times now.
Well, let's just talk a little bit about the paper. Let's give it like a little 10, 15 minutes and talk about the paper.
All right.
Okay. So I'll bring the paper up. We'll do a little bit of screen sharing here because it adds a little bit of visual interest. And if my machine blows up, it's because I've got a bug on this NVIDIA driver that I'm running. Okay. So this is the paper here. It was done for the ACM. We've been associated with the ACM for quite a while. And I'll look at the PDF version of this paper here. And is this going to be like a printout? Can we get a copy of this and put it in our bathroom as well?
Eventually, yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I didn't see that. Is that the actual
I think that's the cover.
Are we on it or not?
I don't think that doesn't look like us.
Give that to AI and ask it to enhance and see if we're on it.
Enhance.
Yeah.
Enhance. Nope.
No,
we're not even listed.
Wow.
Man, oh man.
It's really disappointing.
Yeah. I'll be sure to call them and ask them if they know who you are. So the idea is, and actually, you know what we should do? We should go through some of the comments. This one I thought was really good. This assumes organizations that are large enough to fund a preceptorship,
it's
right?
True.
So our theory.
It's true.
Yeah. So what do you do when you've got a small team and there's basically one senior who's just
actually, I wanted to talk with you about it. Should we have our one-on-one on the show?
Let's do it.
Because I wanted to talk to you about this.
Uh-oh.
Actually, I'm coming to the conclusion that universities need to it needs to be funded through universities to get to scale.
Okay, that's interesting because you and I both have associations with a number of universities.
Because you need to a few things to actually implement a praise program, assuming that universities are dropping out, they're producing early in careers using the same approach they've been using so far. They come out with some skills, they have no experience.
Right.
Is that only a company needs to have a structure in place, enough senior people, enough money, enough HR support, enough incentive. Like, what is the incentive? Really, what a lot of companies would do is just say, you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. I'll just hire seniors. And if I need more seniors, I'll go poach them from some other place that has got a praise program, that gets this early in career to senior level. And I'll just take them from there. So how do you stop that from happening? Everybody going, I'm going to take advantage of everybody else. I think the whole thing just won't work. Like Microsoft is the one training juniors and everybody else is hiring them from us, for example. So that's what takes me back to, I think it needs to be university driven, where you go into school and then there's some incentive for companies to take in these early in careers and even the minimal investment, but it needs to be really minimal to make it worth their while. like, I mean, the universities are kind of running the preceptor programs inside of companies that these people go to.
Yeah.
And they're still paying tuition, and maybe they're getting some nominal employment from the...
So which direction does this flow, though? Like the people flow out of college. Are you saying that the school pays
Yeah.
to get the people in? Schools are already expensive, though.
But it's just part of tuition, I think.
And
maybe the tuition drops when they go because maybe the companies are paying some of it. But
kids want to graduate from school with a guaranteed job. And there's a bunch of kids that'll get out of college and then like in June of senior year and they're out, they're like, okay, I got to start looking for a job. And then there are those that have been doing internships since sophomore year, and they're going to be better positioned to get into gigs. And traditionally the internship involves digging your way out of an internship. I did an internship when I went to Portland Community College. That was a reason I went to that school. They said, and we have a required internship. In order to graduate, you must do an internship, and we partner with local businesses. That made me want to go there because it was a guaranteed internship, and I didn't have to go hunting for it. They assigned me a company.
Yeah. And that's what I'm suggesting the model that I think we'll go to operates like, but it's not an internship, it's a preceptorship.
Right.
That you're getting placed into. And but I think the universities are like, you consider company like Microsoft, right? Microsoft can run a preceptorship program. Small companies don't have the resources to do it or skills to do it. And
there was me and one other person at the place that I did in the 90s.
But if the universities ran the preceptorship program inside of a company somehow, I don't have the answer.
No, I know, but we're figuring the answer out together, right?
But I don't think that, and I think it's great that Microsoft's piloting this because it needs to start somewhere. But I think that enough back pressure has to form from the industry to get schools to get this going. Because right now, I think if we went to a school and said, start this thing, I'm guessing we'd have trouble.
Well, but at the same time, I'm doing a thing at Cornell later this week, and then they'll email, they'll let us go and talk to them, and then of course you'll get all the LinkedIn's that want can you give me an internship, and you put them into the internship program. There's also the programs where they want you to pay, they want Microsoft or the company to pay them $20,000 to have someone come in, and I don't have that $20,000 to pay or whatever. I just made that number up.
Yeah.
But there seems to be money flowing back and forth between big companies and colleges to try to solve these kind of problems.
Well, I think if you did a joint thing would it align incentives where the company's paying for the student and the student's paying the university, which is effectively paying the company.
Okay.
Through supporting the program in some way and giving them this low-cost individual that maybe can do something, but also grows into becoming more capable and replacing talent.
But to your original point, there has to be a reason because capitalism.
Yeah, I know.
And right now,
I don't think the reason is there yet. And that's what I'm saying.
Right.
I don't think the back pressure is built yet to incentivize this.
When I did it, I felt like there was less people in the industry and they were looking for anyone who knew what they were doing. Now there's a ton of people who know what they're doing. Is the industry right-sizing itself? Are there? Because one person will tell you there's too many engineers and another one will say there's not enough.
I think that I'm not hearing there's not enough anymore. And I think that if we talk about the boost the senior people are getting, then their amount is going to, in the best case, stay where it is. And again, the pressure is not only going to start building when the pool of talent shrinks below the the required, the demand for it. And then people will wake up and say, wait a minute, we need to have preceptorship programs.
Yeah. There's a really interesting program in South Africa. There's a woman named Nyari Samoshanga who runs a place called We Think Code. And it's a 2-year program that you graduate from, and you have a guaranteed job at the end if you make it through the program. And the program is very hard. So there's it's not one of those things like we graduate 97%. Like people will not make it through the program. But what's cool about it is that the companies, if I understand this correctly, because I visited them in person, the companies basically hire the people before they've graduated. And they say, we're going to pay for your tuition. We're going to pay ahead of time for you. We'll give you a stipend. You're going to come work for us. And we're going to basically get guaranteed good workers.
Yeah.
But because they've been put through such a rigorous program.
Well,
so it's kind of like an inverted boot camp.
I think that what I'm describing is a version of that, though, where the company is not necessarily paying the full salary because they're still a student.
Oh, yeah.
And the school is effectively responsible for the preceptorship part of it somehow. But this requires a much more tight connection between industry and schools.
Yeah. Did you see Kent Beck's article on the bet on juniors?
I don't remember.
So here's where he calls out what we called out. Everyone takes the knee-jerk action, slowing hiring, getting rid of juniors, canceling internships. The standard model says juniors are expensive. They ask questions, those darn juniors. They break things. They need code review. And he's like, no, you manage juniors for learning, not production. So it's very similar to what we just said.
We've been.
Yep. A junior is a bet. You're paying money today for productivity tomorrow. But then how do you solve that they become good and then they get poached?
Well, yeah, this is what I'm saying. It's like, why invest in... I mean, this is exactly preceptorship.
100%.
That's exactly what it is.
Yep.
Yeah. But I'm saying that connection between universities and industry bridges that gap there.
Yep. But then look at this. He actually calls this out, which we didn't. Junior developers have high turnover. He says 36% leave before they become positive.
Yeah.
So really interesting conversations that are happening around this.
I mean, that's the thing is there's this, the companies that'll just take advantage of the system that other people are paying for.
Right. So then when you do an internship or a journeyman, or, you can become like a journeyman.
I think there has to be some like part of your compensation is tied to you staying for some amount of time.
You got to stick golden handcuffs of a kind.
Yeah.
We'll pay for your school if you stick around for 2 to 4 years.
Yeah.
And
if you go, then you owe it back to us, right?
Yeah. Which is a way that some of the early kind of failed coding boot camps used to do that kind of thing, except the boot camp made it about them rather than about the company.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's the thoughts that I was having as we're having this one-on-one in front of everybody, and I wanted to go back to some of the schools we're talking to and see what they think. I was going to write it up. I was going to have AI write a paper for me on it.
Are you really?
Yeah.
We'll see if that gets. Make sure it has a lot of M dashes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got some schools. I'm talking to an HBCU that I'm very lucky to work with later this week. That we're going to have. I'm on the AI subcommittee, and then I've got a kid at University of Portland, and they're going to have a conversation around AI as well. And then I know you've got your alma mater and other schools that are very well thought of that you're going to look at. So we want to try to solve this problem at scale. Like you can't just solve it onesie twosie. You got to go all in. You need someone to make a big bet to make something like this happen.
Yep. You need both sides of the equation to make that bet together, I think.
Yeah.
But I mean, if we want to get ahead of it, right? Because I think when it becomes a crisis and everybody goes, oh, there's no senior talent, we're all fighting for the same pool, and
then
then
they're going to pull us out of retirement to do Visual Basic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's an episode, even though it may not be the most interesting episode. It needed to happen because we were going to talk about this anyway.
And actually, I did want to talk to you about going back to CMU and proposing that.
Let's do it.
All right.
Like, I think that when we talked to them before, they were excited. I think the challenge with all of these things is you got to just do the thing.
Yeah. But I think proposing universities are on the hook for preceptorship.
Oh, okay. So flipping it and just making sure that they understand that we'll be here ready, but they need to own the pushing.
What is your robot doing?
when something agentic happens, dude, relax. When sorry, it's gonna fall off the table. So I hooked in a loop, dude. Stop. Thank you. When it's got a
What's his name? He's really cute.
Reachy.
Like he can't reach for anything.
He can't reach for anything. So I've hooked up a hook into the GitHub Copilot CLI. Yeah. So then when a session ends and he like gets all the tests passing or whatever.
Yeah.
I know that if you got your tests passing, that you would also have such a thing.
A robot making noises.
Thanks for watching. Yeah. Thanks for watching, Scott and Mark. Learn to. One of these days, we'll learn to have a show of an appropriate length, and we'll remember to stop and set up for the next show. But we appreciate you, and if you make it this far, go to the comments.
Smash the subscribe button. I've learned that that's what you're supposed to say now.
Smash that bell. Like and subscribe. Yeah.